Hey y'all, it's your favorite duck here, Derek the Duck, and today we are here at Dollar Tree, and I am doing a challenge where I want to see if I can eat only Dollar Tree food for a whole week for less than 50 bucks. Won't you join me? I'm actually going to go to 3 different Dollar Trees. This is the first one, and of course the first thing I want is candy, so I'm going to get a Kit Kat. Maybe I'll sneak that into a movie theater. And here's the crackers. This is like a chicken and a biscuit, but it's the Dollar Tree version. Oh, and look, whales. Whales! I don't drink, but I do like fun drinks. Sometimes I like to make my own mocktails, so I'm getting these mix packets. And you know I love matuna. Good source of protein, just mix it with a little rice. It's only $1.25, I'll get a couple of them. Most things here are $1.25. Remember when everything at Dollar Tree was $1? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Oh look, here's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I have to get this. This is good for breakfast. And I'll get some Cocoa Pebbles while I'm at it. Here's some canned goods. Trying to get some meals out of this. I think I'll get some of this chicken noodle soup. 13 grams of protein. I'm hoping to get some brown rice to mix with the tuna. This looks pretty good. Although I'm seeing here that it requires a microwave, and I actually don't have a microwave. So, probably better not get that one. Yeah, I think I'll get this Omega rice instead. This is the fancy $5 fridge. I think I'm gonna get these fish sticks, they look good. And maybe some ice cream. It is very hot in Texas these days. I need this. $1.25 for ice cream, not too bad. And here are some $1.25 Fast Bites brands of sandwiches and burgers that you can heat up. I've had these before, I like them, so I think I'll get a few of them. We'll do spicy chicken sandwich and cheeseburger. I've never heard of Swedish fish tails before. They must be new. Yeah, I'm going to get that for the movies as well. And some popcorn for when I'm watching movies at home. And let's not forget the milk that I'm going to need for all the cereal. And of course, coffee. I'm going to need some coffee for every day for the next 7 days. And it looks like they don't have any ground coffee or whole bean or anything like that, so I'm gonna have to just buy a bunch of cans. I'm gonna start the week with caramel, cookies and cream, and a Snickers coffee. So this was my first batch. It came out to $30.41. All the items cost $1.25 each, except for the fish sticks, which was a bit of an indulgence at $5. But looking at this, I could tell it wasn't going to be enough meals, so I had to go to another Dollar Tree. This second Dollar Tree had a mini fridge full of Starbucks, but they were $3.50 each? No. So instead I went over to the canned coffees. They're all sort of labeled Victor Allen's, and they're small, but they're $1.25 each, and I like the different varieties. At my first Dollar Tree visit, I got 3 of them, so I knew I needed to get 4 more to round out the week. This time including a Twix coffee. It's not Starbucks, but it'll do. And I already know I'm going to need some more of that chicken and a biscuit. And this Dollar Tree has different varieties of the Fast Bites mini meals. Getting the fried chicken sandwich and the barbecue chicken sandwich. Delightful. And let's add another canned soup. Look, it's Healthy Choice, so that's got to mean something, right? And let's get some jalapeno tuna while we're at it. You know how much I love my jalapeno tuna. And let's get some black beans. I had made a meal of black beans and rice when I was staying at that hostel in Puerto Rico. That was fun. I don't really like cran grape juice. I like full-on grape juice, but I can never find grape juice at Dollar Tree, so I'm stuck with this one. But I like to put it in a wine glass and pretend it's wine. Attitude is everything, or so they say. So here's the second batch. It came out to $14.12. They were all $1.25, with the exception of the cran grape, which was $1.50. Such extravagance, but a lot cheaper than a bottle of wine. So the total of the two batches is $44.53, but I think I still need a little more. So back to the Fast Bites fridge. I'm going to get this grilled chicken sandwich this time and another spicy chicken sandwich. So that last visit was only $2.50, bringing the grand total to $47.03. So, okay, a week is over, and I did it. I survived at the Dollar Tree with Dollar Tree food. One of the main reasons I did this was because of a job I had about a decade ago in Austin, Texas. I was a receptionist, and one of my only tasks was to process reimbursements for, all the big bosses, that sort of thing. And I remember a moment, it's something that's kind of stuck with me for a long time. If you go onto like this website, which shows like per diem for like government employees, that sort of thing. So when the big bosses would travel, they would get per diems. It's pretty normal. Most places, a lot of places do that. And I think about 10 years ago, it was something like, I think it was exactly $51 per day was what they got in per diems. Now it's different. I think it's like 70. But back about 10 years ago, it was 51. I remember that number. And then I remember one of the big bosses, they all make lots of money or whatever. They said something to me. They said, wow, can a person even live off of, can a person even survive off of $51 a day in meals? Something like that. And those words always stuck with me. And I didn't want to say it, but I was like, yeah, a person could live off of $51 a day. A person could live off of maybe even $51 a week. So I wanted to do this Dollar Tree experiment just so that I could know that my thoughts back then were correct, and see if I myself could do it. Now, I don't know if you've followed my YouTube channel. If you haven't, then don't forget to subscribe. But I kind of have a dichotomy or a juxtaposition, one of those big words that I don't understand. So I like very flashy, luxurious, cool things, especially related to travel. But I only like them when they're free, okay? I'm never going to pay for some expensive experience or something like that. I'm never going to pay for a hotel, a fine hotel. I'm never going to pay for a first-class flight. That's something that's just against, my religion. But I also like super, 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 super cheap, often free things as well. I don't like anything in between. And you've probably seen it with my cars too. I have, the big Mercedes, and then I have the old beater car, the Toyota Corolla from 2000. I have those two things. I like that juxtaposition between the two. I have this great big house, which I call the Quack House because it does house the duck. However, I'm actually considering buying like a little camper RV to live in that, like maybe on weekends when I'm traveling or something like that. But I'm never going to get like a mid-sized apartment. I'm never going to get something in between those two. It's either a great big mansion or a tiny RV. a super luxury car or the Corolla, you know. I'm never going to get that Kia Sportage in between the two things. It's just against me. I can't do it. Okay, I'm not going to. So that's, and one of my friends in college once described me, and I really liked the way she said it. She said, "You know what you're like, Darren?" I said, "What?" She said, "You're like a really fancy, expensive plate. You're like a really luxurious plate, but with like McDonald's food on top of it." Something like that. I thought that was the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. And that person really got me. So I like those two extremes. I do not like anything in the middle. It's whatever. So you may have seen some of my videos about some of the stuff that I eat, especially if I'm in one of those fancy lounges at the airport, or if I'm flying first class or something like that. It can be very nice. It can be highly gourmet kind of stuff. But if I'm going to have to actually pay for it, like with my own hard working, the money I work really hard for, then I'm not going to pay very much at all. In fact, I'm going to try to see just how little I can possibly pay. So I decided to do this food challenge with Dollar Tree. There's a couple of Dollar Trees next door, so I thought, why not? And so that's why this is happening. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it, how I survived. And, if you ever find yourself in a jam, or you're also like me and you're just not willing to pay for food, it's like eating money. If you also just do not want to pay for food, maybe you can find some inspiration in what I'm about to show you about what happened during this week, which just ended yesterday. So let's talk about it. Day number 1. So I started with a coffee. This one was the Snickers coffee. It was an unusual taste. I had it in a little can, and I decided to just, relax and have that as my morning coffee. Oh, and so by the way, all of everything I ate this week was what I'm about to tell you in these 7 days worth. The only exception was just when I had water water that came out of the fridge, just normal tap water. Other than that, everything I ate was from Dollar Tree. And like I said, I wanted to see if I could do it, if I could challenge myself. And as I just showed on my trips there to the Dollar Trees, I was able to get it less than $50, so around 47. I just wanted to see if it was possible, if I could do it. It will help me with budgeting, and maybe I would actually enjoy it. So the first thing that I had was that Snickers coffee with that Victor Allen's can. It was like a kind of coffee, but they were flavored in different things. I'd never heard of this brand before. The Snickers one, it tasted like Snickers, which is kind of weird for a coffee. I didn't like it. But, it gave me my morning caffeine, and yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Then I immediately went to get the fish sticks. Now, those were the most expensive thing. I'm still kind of horrified that they sell anything over $1 at Dollar Tree. I think there would be like special Dollar Tree Plus that would have it, but back in the day, which is only a few years ago, everything was exactly $1. So now they have this whole fancy section, the bougie section, and I got the fish sticks, and they looked good, and they were really nice, and I was like, well, I have to have them right now. So I ate them, and I ate them all, okay? 760 calories worth. That's a lot. But I mean, they were fish sticks. So I put them in the oven, and then I took them out and I ate them. You know, there's not there's not much of a story to it. They were very, very good, and it was so much food that I decided I wasn't going to have another meal that day. Usually, I like to have at least 2 meals a day, but this was just too much food. I mean, 760 calories for one serving. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you've seen, I'm kind of used to low calorie intake now. I don't know if you saw, but I did a 9-part series on my YouTube about me losing weight on a cruise ship. And I basically, over about 2 months of time, was able to get my body accustomed to around 1,200 calories a day. That did not happen overnight, and there were some days where I went way over. But I was able to lose 10 pounds that way, and I showed my video series. So if it looks like I'm not eating that much, it's because I'm not. And like I said, it's something that I had to almost train for. I would not have been able to do this Dollar Tree challenge before I did the cruise ship 10-pound challenge. I needed to have gone through that first to see if it was even possible to have so few calories in a day. It is possible for me, but like I said, it's only because I trained myself to do it. And I don't really get that hungry if I don't, 1,200 calories can, I mean, it doesn't make me like full feeling, but it doesn't make me like shaking hungry sort of thing. So I had the fish sticks. They were very, very good. They were very, very good. But I mean, they were just fish sticks. They were kind of weird. They were like something you'd get on that a lunch lady would serve you in middle school or something like that. It wasn't like gourmet, and it certainly wasn't like an amazing meal or anything like that. It just tasted good, but in a kind of cheap way. And I don't know how to explain it. It's fish sticks. After that, I made a mocktail. I made my first mocktail. I don't drink, so I like to experiment with fun drinks. I always try to get a fun drink of some sort. I made a mocktail. I used my soda stream and pumped in water, and I mixed it with this the 7-Up thing. So I had a couple of those. I split the packet into two, and so I had one half of it, and then I was still thirsty, so then I had the second half. And then I did the same thing with the watermelon packet. So, that was kind of like making myself a fun little drink. And I know it didn't have that much sugar or calories because I chose it. It wasn't like I was drinking a Dr. Pepper or something like that. So I liked it. It was fun to sort of make that on my own with my soda stream. And it was with ingredients that were from Dollar Tree. So I was having a Dollar Tree mocktail. Neither of those drinks were very good, but they were refreshing enough, and it was fine. Then I went and I wanted a snack. So I got that chicken and a biscuit thing. And I mean, I didn't eat the whole thing, but I had 3 servings of it. I counted them out, that sort of thing. And my gosh, those are good. They were almost as good, if not, I'm going to go ahead and say they were exactly as good as chicken and a biscuit. Even though these weren't chicken and a biscuit, they were, they were the weird knockoffs. But they were very good. I mean, they were real good. I wanted to eat the whole thing. And then I went and got some ice cream, the mint chocolate chip. It was okay. It was a little weird. Yeah, that's what I had. So for day 1, it was 1,505 calories. It got me through the day. and it had some interesting flavors. The fish sticks were yummy, but the highlight of day one was the chicken and a biscuit knockoffs. Day two, I started the morning with another iced can coffee. Sort of reminds me of when I went to visit Japan. They had a lot of like vending machines, and I always struggled to find like coffee, but they had a lot of like canned coffees there. So I kind of got into that there. So I was more used to that. I visited Japan last year, and when you travel a lot, you sort of start to develop a taste for different things you find in different locations. So I sort of like canned coffee now. And so I started the day with this caramel coffee, and I have to tell you, that was very good. So of all of the five different types I was trying of those Victor Allen coffees, the caramel one was my favorite. That one was very good, and I would say that now that this Dollar Tree challenge is over, I might just want to stock up on some more of those. Those and the chicken and a biscuit are real highlights. But man, that was a great way to start the morning. I really enjoyed that caramel coffee. Then I headed over to the movies. I go at weird times at the Alamo Drafthouse. I have a season pass, so all the movies I go to are free. I don't like to go to like 7 p.m. Friday showings because then there's lots of people there. So I went there and there was like no one there. And I had the whole theater to myself, which is good because I was sneaking in some snacks, which you're not supposed to do. And so I snuck in my Swedish fish and the Kit Kat bar. I saw the movie F1, Formula One. It was good. And it was even better because the snacks were very good. And they weren't like ridiculous price like you would normally get Swedish fish at a movie theater for like, I don't know, $20 or something these days. This was $1.25. So it was the perfect price. And I don't know, it just made the movie that much better knowing that I saved a lot on my movie snacks. So I enjoyed those both, even if they were very sugary and high in calories. It was still fun. When I got home after the movie, I decided to make myself a lunch, so I cooked some chicken noodle soup. That was just chicken noodle soup, I wasn't even sick, but I ate it and it was okay. Then I made a mocktail, another 7-Up mocktail, like the day before, and I also had another watermelon from the Watermelon Crush mocktail, so that was good. And then I wanted a snack, of course, again, so I ate more of the ice cream. Well, I finished off that tub of it, so I had 2 more servings of it. Very refreshing. And finally, for dinner, I made myself tuna, and I mixed it with that brown rice. So I put the brown rice in a little rice cooker thing, and I made that, and then on top of that, I put the tuna on that bed of rice, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. That first flavor wasn't my favorite, but it was okay. It felt like a meal, and it wasn't that many calories, and it's high in protein. So day 2 I thought was a pretty good day. It ended up at approximately 1,550 calories for the day. And then it was day 3, so I started that morning with a can of coffee. This one was the cookies and cream one. It wasn't very good. I wasn't a big fan. It was not nearly as good as that caramel one. And I had that with the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and some milk. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch had 400 calories, so it was kind of a big meal in and of itself. But it was pretty good. It was a good way to start the morning, but I thought because it had so much, I was only going to have one other meal. So I had that cheeseburger. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I had completely forgotten when I was shopping at Dollar Tree that I don't own a microwave. So I had to go and take this cheeseburger to work. So it was good for like a work lunch thing. So in you know, in the office, like most offices in the country, there's usually a microwave somewhere. So I found a microwave, and I was able to heat up the cheeseburger, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So I enjoyed that. That was 410 calories, and you know, after those 800 calories worth from just the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the cheeseburger, I went home and I just had a snack. I had chicken and a biscuit, the knockoff version. It was a good day 3. All right, so now let's talk about day 4, sort of the middle of this experiment, if you will. So day 4, started the day right with Twix iced coffee. Again, not the best flavor. Now that I'd already sort of tried all of them, I was quite convinced that it was that caramel that's the best one of those Victor Allen iced coffees that they have at Dollar Tree. And then this time I had another one of the breakfasts, the cereals. So I had the Cocoa Pebbles with milk. Pretty good. Not as good as the cinnamon toast crunch, but I don't know if that's just because I like that the bag on the cinnamon toast crunch so much more. You know, it has those little animals with their like you know, so it looks super yummy on that bag, and I think that's why I liked it more. But anyway, Cocoa Pebbles was still pretty good. For lunch, I had Healthy Choice chicken and rice from a can. You know, I heated it up on the oven stove, and range, as some people call it. And because it was kind of boring, I put some of those whales on it. You know, whales. Shut up. They're like knockoff goldfish. So I kind of sprinkled a serving of them on top of the meal. It didn't do anything except make it taste a little worse. So I don't know what I was thinking that it would be good, but it wasn't. And then as a side for that, you know, multi-course meal, I had some grape juice in a nice goblet or whatever, and it almost looked like wine, except when you tasted it and realized that it wasn't. So that was not very good. I had that whole grape juice thing. That was a lot of calories. Whatever. Then I had a chicken sandwich later for dinner. Now, that chicken sandwich was really good. Again, I realized I don't have a microwave in this house, so I used my air fryer, and I didn't know if that would work. But I felt like, you know, it's kind of like a microwave. So I sort of started by toasting the bread pieces of that chicken sandwich, and they got warm right away. And then I put the meat in there, and I kind of flipped it a few times, and it ended up being really warm and really, really delicious. Probably better than it would have been if I had put it in the microwave. Very, very good. I love that chicken sandwich from First Bites. What's it called? Fast Bites. Yeah. So I recommend that chicken sandwich, and I recommend doing it in an air fryer if you can. If nutrition-wise that's safe. I don't really know. It wasn't in the instructions. I don't know. Maybe it was toxic in some way. I don't think it was, but I'm not, you know, a botanist or anything like that, so I don't know. So that was an interesting day. A lot of calories overall, 1,549 for the day. Okay, then it was day 5, okay? Now, day 5 was interesting. Started the morning with a Snickers coffee. Again, not my favorite, but I didn't know what my favorite would be leading up to it. I didn't know that the caramel would be my favorite. I should have just got 7 of those, but I'm glad I tried it. Snickers was okay. I don't think I'm gonna be trying that again. For lunch, the barbecue chicken sandwich from Fast Bites, delicious, absolutely delicious. All of those, anything chicken sandwich related from Fast Bites was just so tasty, and only $1.25. So I was very pleased with that. I actually had 2 Fast Bite sandwiches on day 5. So after that, I had the grilled chicken sandwich. Absolutely delicious. They both were. So whether they're fried or grilled or barbecued, they taste very, very good, at least to me anyway. Then I had some snacks, of course. I had 2 servings of chicken and a biscuit, the knockoff version. A huge fan of that. And then for dinner, I made brown rice with some more of that chili tuna, the Thai chili tuna. Not my favorite of the tunas, but I ate it and it was good protein. Then day 6, another Snickers coffee. What are you gonna do? I had that one, and then I had the spicy chicken sandwich from Fast Bites. Delicious. Another home run. Those were all so very good. And I followed that up with 2 cocktails or mocktails that I made, the 7-Up and watermelon mocktails. At this point, they were getting kind of boring, and I wasn't even using the soda stream anymore. I was just throwing in, some tap water and mixing it around with it and waiting for it to be over, because they weren't really that tasty after a while. And then this time for dinner, I had the pinto beans. And I was kind of dreading it because beans and rice just didn't sound that appetizing to me, but it did have protein in it. And it did remind me of, like I said, when I went to Puerto Rico and I had a meal similar to that. So I cooked it and it felt, it was filling, and I was glad that I wasn't eating, something full of cholesterols and stuff, and that it had good protein. So whatever, it wasn't very tasty, but I did it. So that was day 6. And then the last day was kind of interesting. So I started the morning with the coffee and cream, the cookies and cream coffee. Not very tasty, just weird. I really missed that caramel thing. And then I had a mocktail, one of those 7-Up ones, but at that point I just kind of stopped. So I didn't finish all the packets, the mixed packets. So that's something that I wouldn't buy again, because I got kind of bored of them and just tired of mixing things like that. So even though I did buy them and they were part of my less than $50, they went about halfway unused. And speaking of unused, I was so foolish that I forgot that I didn't have a microwave. What was I going to do with all that popcorn? I bought all that kettle corn popcorn. Now, I thought I might take it to work and put it in the microwave, but that's one of those things that everyone in the office can smell. And I didn't want everyone to get angry that someone was making popcorn and having a party and didn't offer anyone any of it as well, because I wasn't going to offer it to anyone because it cost me $1. So I tried to make that popcorn in the air fryer, and that was a huge mistake. I Googled how to make microwavable popcorn in an air fryer, and it looked like some people had done it before, but I tried. I did the preheating. I kind of put it in a little foil. I put a little oil in there with it, even though it had some already. I tried to read the instructions, and at first I had it like set at like 200 degrees, I think, and nothing was happening for a while. And so I put it like at 400 degrees, and then I didn't hear any popping like I thought I would hear like in a microwave. But all of a sudden, my smoke detector went off, and I quickly ran over to the air fryer and opened it, and I saw that a few of the kernels had become popcorn, but quickly they started becoming smoke, so they must have caught fire or burnt up in some way, and the whole thing was just like a disaster. So I threw out that batch, and I didn't try again. Maybe some other day in the future I'll make a video on how to make popcorn in an air fryer if it's even possible. But that was another thing that I paid for, a whole $1.25, but I didn't use. So that's wasted money in my opinion, because I couldn't use that as calories. So the popcorn was a failure, but I drowned my sorrows in more whales. I ate 2 more servings of the whales. So delicious. Well, no, they weren't delicious at all, but I ate them. So it was almost like goldfish, but not in any way. And for my lunch, I had another spicy chicken sandwich. Just delicious every time. Wow, wow, wow. That was one where I was lucky enough to be able to microwave it at work. And then for dinner, I had my last meal of this adventure was jalapeno tuna mixed with brown rice, and that was incredible. It tasted so good. So yeah, that was my adventure. So that was day 7. And on the very last day, day 7, it was 1,075 calories total. So not too much. This would be good for like a diet, I think. I'm not sure about the nutritional value, and I'm also not a nutritionist, so don't listen to me. But I might try something like this in the future if I ever need to lose a few pounds. Pay less than $50 and get around 1,200 calories a day. That could really work for me. Not necessarily anyone else in the world, but for me. So yeah, it's been quite an adventure. I will say that I learned a few things. Number one is that you have to remember whether or not you have a microwave. Number 2, probably don't get popcorn if you don't have a microwave. Number 3, if you're going to do the iced coffee, do the caramel version of the Victor Allen's. Number 4, if you see Starbucks or something like that, just because you're in a Dollar Tree, don't be deceived. That's still going to be expensive. It's going to be $3.50 for that, for a little Starbucks Frappuccino bottle, when you could be getting like a really good caramel coffee for $1. So I would be careful what you see. If you go to that big section where the $5 items are, the fish sticks, they were good, but I wouldn't say they were like incredible or anything like that. My absolute favorite section of Dollar Tree was the Fast Bites. They just had so many good chicken sandwiches, that sort of thing. That's plenty of meals, and each one of those is $1, So if I do this again, and I probably will, I'm going to raid that fridge of those Fast Bites. I'm going to get lots of those caramel iced coffees, cans. I'm going to get some rice and focus on the jalapeno tuna instead of that Thai tuna. And yeah, the chicken and the biscuit knockoffs, they may be knockoffs, but they are absolutely delicious, and I really recommend them. The whales knockoffs are definitely knockoffs, and they are horrible, and I don't know why I keep buying them, and I have to stop. Yeah, so There's plenty of good protein there at Dollar Tree, and yes, you can totally have a whole week of eating from the Dollar Tree, and you know, and it will still be tasty, and even a little filling. Not too filling though, but somewhat. And the most important thing I learned, against what people may say about per diems or anything like that, but you absolutely can eat for less than $50 a day, and you can even eat for less than $50 for a whole week with Dollar Tree, because I did it, and it was pretty great. So I'm probably going to do something like this again. You let me know in the comments if you think this was even slightly amusing, or if there's anything you've seen at Dollar Tree that might be tasty that I should look into in the future. But yeah, and you can certainly save on movie theater concessions by buying snacks at Dollar Tree and taking them into the theater. Worked for me. Formula One movie was great. So yeah, it was just a great adventure. Thank you for joining me on this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you at the next adventure. So thanks so much. See you next time.